Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things we've done down here. We've had this property for what, 5 or 6 weeks? So we've gotten quite a bit done. I mean, we took possession of it just a little over a month ago, and since then we've been kind of pushing to try to get some things done in here because we're up against, it's October, we're up against winter's coming, and so we wanted to be able to get on the property before the snow hit and froze everything up for the year. But so we did a ton of work, and I want to give you some perspective here. Initially we hired a company, an excavating company, to come in here, and they gave us one day. They were very busy, everybody's busy right now, and so we managed to pinch a day out from them on a Saturday, and they came in and spent 7 hours in here clearing trees. And you can see one big pile over that way, and the other one's kind of buried over there at the end of that deck right there. So a lot of trees came out in this area. We're probably looking at around 1.5 acres or so that's opened up here, and it was just socked full of trees. Couldn't even walk around in here. The difference is that cost us about $1,500 for one guy, one day, as an excavation company to come in and take these trees out. What we decided to do, because we couldn't get anybody back for a while, was we went and looked at, could we just rent a piece of equipment and have it dropped on the property. So that's what we did. We had a D3 Cat bulldozer brought in, and then I hired a guy for 2 days just as a laborer to run the equipment because he's versed in it. And I mean, I'd probably spend the first day figuring it out, and then so I wouldn't have got as much done. And so 2 days with a cat, and we had a ton of excavation done in here, a lot of clearing, a lot more trees came out for less than $1,000. So that's the difference there. So there's your hack. If you can rent equipment and do it yourself, or bring somebody in that knows how to run the equipment, you could probably get away with it for a lot less than an excavation company that does that as a business, because they're more expensive to hire.
That would have cost us upwards of $3,000 to have somebody do that. Yeah,
so we saved a lot of money getting 2 days worth, and this guy really got a lot accomplished. He knew what he was doing, and so we're real happy about that. So we'll take a look down this way, and you can kind of see some of the things. So we scratched off this hillside up here. It was loaded with trees, and then came back through and basically did what we call removing the duff, which is the brush, the stumps, the roots, and just the top layer of biomass, if you will, off of this side of the hill out here, about 2/3 of it, and then started pulling some dirt down to level this down and bring this other side up here on the other side of the driveway level flat, because it's kind of a whole slope going all the way across. So we wanted some level ground out here to play around on. And so we got quite a bit of that done, and we got most of that dirt came right out of this one spot right here. And you're probably going, what the heck did you do that for? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have a lot of projects inside the project. The whole project is developing this property into our homestead, and then we have all these sub projects, or mini projects, if you will, going on. And one of them is the tiny house over there, and then there's this thing. And we're not giving this away, are we?
No.
So we got this big hole. You'll have to find out. Some of you might figure it out. Some of you will have to stay tuned to see what we're going to do in this hole. But suffice it to say, that was a lot of ground. All this created all that. That big flat spot over there that was downslope from this. And so we've got now a nice big
shelf.
I haven't even measured that yet. I'm going to say...
So it's 100 feet wide.
Yeah, 100 feet by maybe 50, 60 feet. I don't know. Have to get out there with a tape measure and figure out what because we were just pushing, not knowing how much we were going to wind up creating on that side by taking the material out of this side. So that the idea was to give ourselves more flat ground in here instead of this constant slope going down across the driveway and so forth. So that's kind of what's going on over here. I was going to show you, we have lots of new neighbors. I think we should talk about some of our neighbors. This is a big red fir. This is probably a 70+ foot tree right here. We have, so far that I've identified, 15 species of trees on the property. So I'll introduce you to this guy over here. This one's probably not quite as tall. It's a white pine, or a white fir, if you will. Real pretty tree. And then, which way you want to go next? we can look up slope here. So there's a big guy right over here. This guy right here, that's a tamarack, also known as a larch. And the cool thing about those is they turn gold in the fall, and then they drop their needles for the winter, and then they grow new needles every spring. So there's kind of a show going on right there. And we have a few more of those up the hill here. So there's going to be a real nice show when all these tamaracks start turning gold up in here. You'll be able to see them. They'll be real contrasting to the green of the other trees. And then so there's some more red firs right here. Those are real nice trees. Another white pine or white fir right there. And then back there, that's a bull pine or ponderosa pine, depending on what you want to call it, that big tall guy. And I'll show you, we have several very large ponderosas or bull pines, whatever you want to call them. Several of these are way over 100 feet tall. When we're flying the drone around in here, we have to watch because they're...
I have to go to 120 feet flying the drone so I don't hit them.
Yeah. And then you can see out here with the leafy trees, those are aspens, and they will turn gold a little bit. You can see they're called quaking aspens. You can see the wind. I don't know if the camera picks that up, but they're quivering. The leaves are, and you can hear them just kind of whispering up there in the breeze. So those are cool. And then we have some alders and some birches and some cottonwoods, and you can kind of see these are all going to be turning gold. They're starting to do that now. We got a lot of tamaracks out in the distance over there. There's several dozen over that way. So we're going to get a really cool fall show here, so stick around, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can keep on what's going on here. But we're going to really have a fun time this fall. This is my favorite season. If I'm in a 4-season climate, my favorite season is fall. Not particularly happy about the next season coming, but I like fall, and fall is my favorite time of year. We got a maple up here behind us. Kind of a, what I call a vine maple. It needs some work.
Yeah, it's a little sad.
Fixed up. It was buried in the trees, so we got it kind of singled out there. But these trees are so close and compact together, they're competing, so we need to take a lot of them out. We're going to be thinning those over the winter. So, and this is our driveway. And the fun thing is this is really powdery right now, and so overnight we have a lot of other neighbors that are running around out here. And so when we come in the morning, we look at the ground to see who's been running around. And I got to see if I can find, oh, here they are right here.
I'm a little nervous about this neighbor.
This is some very large raccoon tracks.
You see
Back
that?
paw, front paw. And so he's walked up through up the driveway last night.
Hold your finger down to those. Very big.
It's pretty good size. So that was one. That's a new neighbor that we haven't met yet.
Huh?
And so just for...
Haven't met him or her.
He walked all the way up the driveway last night, and there's deer tracks in here. We've seen coyote tracks in here. We've talked to a couple of the landowners adjacent to us around the area here, and they said we have moose, bear, deer, cougar, elk. What else? Raccoon.
Lots of turkeys.
Turkeys, yep, we've seen turkeys.
Lots of chipmunks and squirrels.
Yeah, a lot of chipmunks and squirrels. They're pretty comical. Little chipmunks are running around out here squawking at us. A lot of birds. We've seen turkey vultures, seen bald eagles, big red-headed woodpeckers like that. So there's a lot of stuff out here that we haven't discovered yet, but we anticipate. So we definitely have predators, and we definitely have big game, and so we have to kind of deal with those accordingly. If we're going to have a garden, it's going to have to be fenced. If we're going to have small livestock, we're going to have them fenced and probably have some sort of a protection dog out here to keep them from getting grabbed by the myriad. Chicken, for instance, is on everybody's menu. So not just ours, but everybody else around here, and so we have to watch it or we'll lose all our chickens. And there's hawks, and so we have to watch out for those. And I'm sure there's owls. So we got a lot of wildlife here, which is really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. We've got some game cams up, so we're hoping to see some of those, and if we get those, we'll share those with you, and we're just kind of waiting to see what comes through. So lots of exciting things going on, lots of work being done. We've got the well in, we're waiting on electricity to come up.
Yeah, I haven't posted that well video yet, so don't give away the deets.
Okay. Suffice it to say that we have a well video, then you'll
Coming
get
soon.
the reveal. So yeah, this is where we're at. We feel like midgets in here because these trees are so big. Lots of really big tall trees in here, and when they're upslope from you, they make it feel even smaller because these are a lot of big trees up in here. It's really cool. A lot of variety of trees, and so we're really tickled to see the diversity of the flora and the fauna. We're pretty excited, and we're going to take you along with us for the ride, and we'll see what's coming next.